Good afternoon, everyone. For today, we will be continue the Dhamma Group 5, session number 2. Last week, we did talk about the Dhamma Group 5. I will give you an overview in a moment, but today we continue the second part of the Dhamma Group 5, and then next week we continue with the Dhamma Group 6. I'd like to start from here. The Buddha once said, a man should make an effort until his goal has been achieved. This can be applied in both worldly life and spiritual life. If you are a student, a serious Dhamma study student, your job is to study Dhamma, right? And make sure you finish all of the 15 lectures that you sign up for. Again, you should make an effort, okay, until your goal has been achieved. And this is what we learned from last week. So we did talk about 5 topics, Dhamma topics, start from the 5 Anantariya Kamma and subject for regular reflection or Abhinha Paccavekkhana. Okay, I will give you a recap quickly in a moment. And we did talk about the benefit of someone listening to the Dhamma, the 5 hindrances, and the 5 qualities of a new monk. So these are the 5 things that the Buddha mentioned about the considered heavy karma in Buddhism. Killing one's martyrs, killing fathers, killing an arahant. Again, we don't know who is arahant, right, at the moment. But this has happened in the time of the Buddha. Arahant was killed as well, male and female monk. Lohitupabhata, this is injuring of the Buddha. Again, this one cannot be done as well because the Buddha did not exist at the moment. And the last one is called Sanghapeta. Sanghapeta is causing the breaking the Sangha or the monastic communities, okay, into groups. That's considered a heavy karma. What it means by heavy karma is no matter how good you have done in your life, if one commit one of these 5 or a combination of these 5, this action will yield the result first. That's why it's called immediacy, okay, immediacy in deeds or the heavy karma. Second topic, we did talk about something that we should reflect regularly, both monk and the lay people, to reflect of these 5 things, Abhinha Paccavekkhana, something that should reflect very often. I think the more the better. Sometimes monks, we do 2 times a day, during morning chanting and evening chanting. At the same time, during the day, when we're feeling down, when we have doubt, if we just sit down and reflect of these 5 things, somehow it gives us strength, okay? It gives us the mind to be calm and joyful and perhaps let go whatever worry that we are having at the moment. Because this telling us about the true nature of life, that we are getting old, nothing much we can do. We are getting ill, illness is always with us, and we are getting closer to be dead. Every day that we wake up, we should feel appreciated, and we also will be separated from the thing we love, human, animal, objects. The last one, the Buddha talk about the karma, deeds or karma. These are, we have our own karma. We do good, we get good. We do bad, we get bad. So reflection on this give a lot of benefit on our daily basis. So by default, I hope that you remember all of these 5 things, because definitely they will be on the test, right? When, let's say, the exam may ask you what are not listed in the 5 daily reflection. If you don't remember 5 of this one, then you cannot answer this question. The benefit of listening to the Dhamma, these are, again, the 5 things that we did talk about it from the previous session. You will hear something that you never heard before. Again, you will have a chance to understand it better. Whatever doubt that you have will be clarifying, and it helps you to adjust your view to be the right view or right understanding. And also your mind, your citta, will become clear and happy when you have a chance to listen to the Dhamma. And the 5 hindrances, as a meditator, you should know what they are. These 5 things always there with us. Number 1 is called Kamacchanta, or the sense desire, the thinking of lust, thinking of having this, having that. And the second is Payabhat, okay, or ill will. You feel agitated, you feel unhappy about something. And the third one, you feel drowsiness and torpor. You don't feel fresh. You don't feel joyful for some reason. Feel sleepy, feel weak. And number 4 is called Utthaja, Kukucca, means restlessness, worry, and remorse, or feel guilty about your wrongdoing in the past. And the last one is doubt or Vicikiccha, okay. I believe in the previous session I did mention the word enemy. The 5 hindrances, one can look at them as an enemy, and on the other hand, we can look at them as a friend because they help us to improve our meditation. Your job is to be mindful whatever arrive in your meditation. Sometimes sense pleasure arrive, sometimes anger arrive, sometimes doubt, sometimes you feel sleepy, sometimes you feel a lot of thought. Your job is to be mindful. No need to fight with them. The more they come, it gives you a more opportunity to be sharpening your mindfulness. So if you feel like you close your eye and then you have to go fight with these 5 things, then that session may not be a pleasant a session because you feel like you at war. You have to fight every time you sit and close your eye and sit for meditation, right? So if they arrive, you just recognize them. Okay, now my mind, crave for something. Your job is to understand that, catch that feeling, investigate it, and let it go. No need to entertain it. No need to continue elaborate the thought. That's how you deal with the hindrances. For some reason, some students may not comfortable with the word enemy because you feel like you need to make an effort. You need to fight with them. But if you look at them, you turn them to be your friends. Because we born with hindrances and we die with hindrances, they always with us. And every time we meditate, they always show up. One of these or some of these. Okay, that's the nature of hindrances. Understand them and work with them. It helps you to meditate better, definitely. And the last one, we did talk about the quality of new monks, which again, it can benefit the lay people like you guys as well. Because, sense restraint in Patimokkha means you observe precept, right? Today we learn a little bit more about precept as well. Every teaching of the Buddha, if you think carefully, you may notice that it will fall into the 3 categories about sila, about meditation, and about panya. Sila, samadhi, panya, or sila, mind, and panya, about having restraint in your action and your speech. That's number 1. If you are a monk, you observe more than 200 rules, right? Lay people 5, sometimes 8. For the novice 10, right? For the monks 227 rules at least. That's number 1 that everyone should establish. And second one is called sense control. When you break the rules, your friends can see and they can give you advice if they care about you. So then you can correct yourself. But sense control, nobody can help you if you don't guard your sense door. What you see and then you think, what you hear and then you think. You may think good and think bad, and nobody knows. That's the scariest part. If I don't know what you think, how can I help you? How can I help correcting you, right? So this is something everyone need to be very, very careful when it comes to the guarding the sense door, because you open the door for the enemy to come to your mind. What you see, you hear, you smell, you taste, you touch, everything go to your mind. And the most important door is the door of the mind, right? If we don't see, then we don't think, because no information comes to the eye. If we don't hear the music, today in meditation, we may not get disturbed by the music that we heard in the morning. But the mind, even though you don't see, you don't hear, the mind can pick up the previous memory from last week, the food that you like before you become a monk, or the wonderful trip that you take last year. It can come back to today's session, and that disturb your meditation. You see, guarding the sense door is the second one that the Buddha suggests for the new monk to establish, including the lay people as well, in my view. And the third one, if you are serious meditation, it doesn't mean you sit seriously. It means you take meditation as a duty, not a hobby. In my view, meditation is a duty, not a hobby. Monk be ordained for spiritual liberation, and it can only take place through the meditation practice. So limit conversation, it helps to the mind to be more focused, because the more we talk, the more the mind stay outside the body. The more you talk, the more you think, and the more the mind stay outside the body, right? Because you have to talk to someone. You don't talk to yourself. You have to think of what to say. So if you limit your conversation or mindful of what you're about to say, then of course it helps you to maintain the mind to be nearby the body, or perhaps inside the body. And the third one is stay secluded. You don't have to be in the forest, but you, from time to time, you can be secluded from your friends, from your work. Give yourself a chance just to focus on meditation practice. And the last one is endowed with the right view. Again, this is about panya, right? You will see the word panya or wisdom very often. In many Dhamma that we learned in the past 10 weeks, 9 weeks, we hear the word sila, we hear the word wisdom or panya, we hear the word samadhi or concentration very often. And today you're going to hear them again. But they just appear in different group of Dhamma. It depends on who the Buddha talked to, which Dhamma that he thinks is suitable for that person to listen in that particular moment. But no matter what it is, okay, it will, if we break it down, it will coming down to these three important foundation about precept, about mind, and about wisdom or panya. Okay, so these are the 5 things that the new monk should establish. For me, even though I ordained more than 10 years, these are something that I'm still working on it. Okay, every day to understand, to keep the precept clean, to guard the sense door, to be mindful of talking, eating, and doing things, and to find myself a seclusion place or where can I be alone and practice meditation by myself, and also continue to study the teaching of the Buddha to develop the right view. Okay, so there are details that we did talk about it. Make sure that you go back and relearn by yourself later on from the video that I uploaded. Okay, so for today we continue the second part of Dhamma Group 5. There will be 3 topics today. First one is called the Vesarajjakaranadhamma, the 5 Dhammas which make self-confidence. The second one we will be talking about the 5 powers, or the Pañca-Balā. Bala means power or strength. And the third one we'll be discussing about the 5 aggregates, or Pañca-Khandha. Okay, some of you may familiar with these 3 group of Dhamma already. Some of you may heard them for the first time. It's okay. We are here to learn, and I will take my time to explain all of this to make sure that you understand and be able to put them into practice. Okay, start from the first one. We'll be talking about the 5 Dhamma which make self-confidence, Vesarajjakaranadhamma. In one teaching, the Buddha talked about fears. When you hear the word fear is opposite to brave. And another idea of being brave is because you have confidence. And how can you develop that confidence? So this is the universal principle that everyone can use. Both monk and the lay people can use as well, to give yourself more confidence to deal with fear, whatever fear that you have, and to improve your personalities, good personalities. So these are the Dhamma that we will be learning today. Start from number 1. The starting point of this practice to overcome fear or to have confidence, the Buddha mentioned the first item on the list is called faith. The second is called sila. You see, sila again, morality, right? And the third one is called pahusacca. This one may be new to many of us today. It's called pahusacca, which I will explain in a moment. And the number 4 is called viriya rampa. You hear the word viriya, right? We talk about the right effort. Viriya now it appears here again in different terms, but the root is come from the same root, which is called viriya. This one called viriya rampa, or perseverance or effort. And number 5, you hear this, the Buddha mentioned about wisdom or panya. You see sila again. You see panya again. It's about the teaching of the Buddha, usually coming down to these 3 kind of principles. It's about sila, about the mind, and about the panya. My question to you is, where is the mind development? Where is samadhi related to? We learned about the Noble Eightfold Path already. This one a little bit challenging for students to answer, but it's here. If you think carefully, you will know that samadhi is here already in these 5 things that the Buddha mentioned in different group of Dhamma that he teach for different group of people. It's important to go back and forth to connect the dot, right? You see sila, samadhi, and panya is a short format of the Noble Eightfold Path. This is the path that leads us to be success, to be happy, from the regular happiness, day-to-day happiness, to all the way up to the supreme happiness or nibbana, right? So panya is here about having the right view and right intention. Sila is here about right speech, right action, right livelihood. You think of morality, you think of 5 precepts, 10 precepts, 200 precepts. And the samadhi is here, right? Concentration or the mind development is about right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. So we learned this already from the previous lecture, right? And now back to the same question. You see Sila here. You see Panya here. Where is the mind developments or samadhi or citta? Viriya, right effort, right? Right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration is the mind development. If the question asked in the exam, you should be able to answer this question easily. Start from faith. That's number one. If you want to have confidence, if you want to deal with fear, you must have faith. And then the Buddha introduced something called sila, morality. And the third one, he mentioned the pahusacca. Pahusacca means to have a great learning, to know, to study hard, to work hard, to get information. The more you learn, the more you know. And number four, viriyarampa means making effort to persevere. Don't give up, whatever job that you are working on. And number five is the word panya, or wisdom again. But panya in this case, we can think of panya in the light version, okay, not the panya in terms of fully liberated from the defilements, but it can be the panya or the wisdom, the right understanding about how can you be happy at the moment, how can you deal with the problem that you are facing today or right now. That will give you confidence, right? Vesarajjakaranadhamma, the five Dhamma which make for self-confidence or to overcome fears. Start from sattha or faith. Faith is the belief in those things which should be believed. This is the definition that appears in the handout that you have, including is the same, it's similar to the Navakovata, okay, the red book that handed out to you, or you can download from our website. This definition comes from those two books. Sattha or faith is the belief in those things which should be believed. So we still need to translate. What does it mean? How do we know this one should believe, this one we should not believe? Right? That's another question. You see, it's not just that. And to me, the word faith sometimes confuse. It can be misleading when we hear the word faith, because this translates from Pali word, okay, sattha to English vocabulary. Sattha is not just regular belief. Another word that used for sattha is called confidence. It's called confidence. This one. Sattha is a confidence born out of conviction. Not just, oh, I believe you. Why do you believe that person? There must be a reason that make you believe what the person just said. That's called sattha. Sattha is the belief backed up by wisdom. In this case, the Buddha placed sattha at the beginning. If you want to have self-confidence in anything, to overcome any fear in your life, you must have sattha. You must have confidence of the thing that you are facing. Okay, I will give you an example in a moment. Okay, let's go through this together first. And the second one, the Buddha mentioned, the second factor of this Vesarajjakaranadhamma is sila, or moralities. And the definition mentioned in the handbook said, looking after one's bodily actions and speech. Okay, bodily action and verbally actions, sila. As a Buddhist people or Buddhist studies student, you should feel comfortable with the word sila by now. And by default, you should know what they are. What is sila? Why sila is so important? Because this one, you think the path that leads to liberation. Both monk and the lay people, okay, we walk down the same path, but monk happen to walk on the highway, go through the same journey, the journey of the Eightfold Path, right? And the journey of Eightfold Path can be summarized into three frameworks. The first one is called sila, morality, or the virtuous conduct. Second one is called samadhi, or mind development. Sometimes they call samadhi, sometimes they call concentration, but it's about develop the mind. To develop the mind is not just meditate. You need to learn how to give. You need to learn how to forgive. You need to learn how to share loving kindness. You need to learn how to be mindful. There are all kind of things that the mind can be developed to have that particular qualities. And the third one is called panya, or wisdom. So these are the three framework that shorten from the Noble Eightfold Paths. So sila is here, the starting point. You think of the buildings, okay? If the building has the deep root with the concrete underneath the building, the deep of the concrete give the more strength of the foundation of that building. Sila is similar to that. Sila prepare you for the higher wisdom. You cannot achieve the higher wisdom if you feel guilty of your own behavior, if you still telling a lie, kill, sexual misconduct, intoxicant. You forget about liberation. Forget about having happiness in your day-to-day life. It's just impossible. So start from knowing your precept first. That's why the first thing that the Buddha introduced to the new monks that you should establish is to understand the rules, the patimokkha, what you can do, what you cannot do, what you should do, what you should not do, and go from there. The Buddha did not just right away teach the new monk how to meditate. No matter who you are, you come from high soul family or low class or middle class family, everyone start the same, observing precept. Understand precept first, and then develop the mind, okay, mindfulness, meditation, and all the way, you will have a chance to access to the higher wisdom of vipassana. That's how it works. This is how you the step that a man need to go through if you looking for happiness, including the mental liberation. You start from morality or precept first. Okay, that is why the precept is listed here at the second. After you have faith, then you must observe precept. Then you can have self-confidence. And the third one is called pahusacca. Pahusacca means you study a lot, okay, to keep it simple. Great learning. Without having knowledge about the thing that you are doing, how can you have confidence? You cannot. You will be fear, right? If you are asked to give speech about technology, about AI, and you don't know, you don't have that information, I don't think you're brave enough to get on stage to give the talk or to give the speech about AI, about meditation, about anything at all. So you need to learn, you need to study, you need to gain a lot of information before you can implement that job that will give you confidence. And Viriyarampa is seeking up the diligence and energies is effort, right? Effort or perseverance, energy. So Viriya mean you don't give up, you make an effort to pursue, to achieve whatever you are working on. Not only that, you pursue with energy, you pursue with great joy. You have hope, and then you get going. Not pursue because you have to. When you feel like I have to, but I don't like it, the energy is not strong. If you not only you want to achieve it, but you also enjoyed it. That's how you can make fun at your work. That's how you can be joyful of whatever problem that you are working on, even though it may seem to be difficult ones. But you make an effort to overcome them, okay, with joyful mind, with energy, with energetic mind. And the last one is called Pañca or wisdom, right? You see the word Pañca again, but again in this Pañca that listed here in the in the Vesarajjakaranadhamma may not be the same level of Pañca when we talk about in the Noble Eightfold Path about liberation. In this case, it's about knowing all about those things which should be known, right? If you have self-confidence, you need to have Pañca. Pañca is ability to utilize what you learn from number 3 of Pahusacca. You learn. If you learn but you don't know how to use that information, then again, that learning is just the raw data that keep in your brain. You don't know how to make use of it. You may read the book about how to cook, how to swim, but the Pañca is about be able to use the information that you learn. Okay, swimming, do this, step 1, step 2, step 3. So they work together. So this Dhamma, the 5 Dhamma, which make for self-confidence, can be used, can be applied for both lay life and the monk's life. In this case, in case of a man or regular lay person, you apply this Dhamma to overcome fear, to improve your personalities, to be confident, right? People with great confidence usually have good they have good personalities. When they talk, when they walk, when they get on stage, they have confidence. And the reason they have confidence because they don't have fear. They don't fear of public speaking. They don't fear of the job that they're doing. They develop these 5 Dhamma with or without their awareness. The sattha, like if you are a student or you are a businessman, you must have faith in the job that you do. For me, I like to start off the wisdom first because wisdom back up all of this. Sattha is the confidence that born of wisdom. You must have Pañca to know that the job that you are doing is a good job, is beneficial to yourself, your family, and to the people around you. You have confidence in the job that you're doing. You have confidence in the subject of your studying. Now you come to the Dhamma study. You probably have initial faith toward the teaching of the Buddha. You may not have a lot of faith for some of you, but you have initial faith that, hey, this teaching sounds good. Let me try. And the reason you have that initial faith because the wisdom or you have ability to reflect of what you hear from someone, read from some book, that the teaching of the Buddha is so good. So let me try to take the class. Let me, dig deeper into the teaching of the Buddha. So you put some initial faith into your study. You put some initial faith into your job because of your paññā or your wisdom. And the precept is the second one. When you have precept, this is how you can secure your credibilities. Breaking precept will keep the mind worried. If you are the boss, you go to work, and you know that your precept is not clean, you cheat on the customer, you not honest to your spouse, not honest to your customer, this and that, then you don't have self-confidence. Your self-confidence level will be low. See, unbelievable. The teaching of the Buddha is quite deep. So a man with precept is a man with good credibility, with good confidence, with self-confidence. High confidence start from you know that I am a man of precept. You can trust me. You can rely on me. So you can check the credit. You can check from the previous customer, how do I treat them. So you very confident about that because your precept is clean. That's the idea of precept or morality. I'm a man of moralities. And the Pahusaja, you learn, you study hard of the project that you are working on. That give you confidence when you have to deal with problem, when you plan to grow your business, right? You have confidence because you have studied enough information. Then you make decision. Okay, do this or not do this. Put this on hold or do this right away. It's come from the information that you acquire, that you have. And wisdom again help you to make decision. Now let's put this thing on hold for 1 month because of the COVID is coming, because the war is happening over there, because of there's a situation that happening. So you have that information. You can put that project on hold for a month, for 2 months, then you implement it again because of the Pahusacca, the great learning or great acquiring of information with back up with the wisdom. And the third one is Viriyarampa, is the time that you will continue to work, not to be lazy, make an effort, persevere until the job gets done. Okay, so this Dhamma will give you a self-confidence. It helps you to overcome fears. For the monk, can apply the same. It's a universal Dhamma that anybody can put into practice when it's come to increase self-confidence or overcome fear. A monk ordained because he wants to achieve Nibbana or the true happiness inside himself, right? So he must have faith or confidence in the teaching of the Buddha first. A new monk may not have a lot of confidence, but there must be some level of confidence or faith before a man decided to become a monk. That's the starting point. And the reason he can think like that is because he has paññā, that he can reflect on the teaching. And the more he study Pahusacca, the more he have confidence of the teaching of the Buddha. And a monk without having clean precept cannot achieve a higher mental liberation, right? Cannot achieve the inner happiness. So monk need to observe precept. Monk need to continue to learn the teaching of the Buddha so he can have more information to reflect. And also monk must be persevere, make an effort to meditate, to study Dhamma, no matter it's hot, it's cold, not feeling well, there's no air conditioning, whatever it is, there's no excuse when it's come to study Dhamma or practice meditation or following the rule that laid out by the Buddha. So this Dhamma can apply for both monk and the lay people at the same time. For the Paññā part, like I said, or wisdom that we see here in this group of Dhamma, if we break down the Paññā into 3 levels, okay, and later on I will show you another 3 levels of Paññā as well. But for a moment, this is what I want you to see. The elementary level is the you can teach yourself out of the problem. You know clearly doing this will cause harm to you. Doing this will cause happiness to you. Then you stop doing what's considered bad. You do what only considered good. That's the elementary level of paññā. Same thing in business, right? You know that drinking alcohol or telling a lie doesn't do any good in your business. As a business person, you should guard your precept as well. Then the intermediate level is understand the nature of things, the situation of things. Like I said, this situation, this time of the year, the weather is hot like this. Maybe we can come up with the product that people can use, so you can make more money during this time of the year. In the rainy season, let's change the product, adjust the price, this and that. So you understand the cause and effect, the things that happening, okay, in on the day-to-day basis in general. And the advanced level of wisdom is ability to destroy the mental defilements, which again, a man need to observe precept, study Dhamma, and practice meditation, right? Then he can get to that level of wisdom. So these are the 5 things. If you are very new, okay, you start from the 5 precepts to walk down this path, to give yourself confidence, to be happy on a day-to-day basis. You start from observing 5 precepts, refraining from taking life, refraining from stealing, sexual misconduct, false speech, and intoxication that crowded the mind. And then later on, you can apply or practice the 8 precept, maybe once a month or every other weeks. It's up to you. There is level of precept as well. Okay. At the same time, you also suggest to develop not only you don't kill human being, you don't destroy life, even little insects. You should develop loving kindness mind. Otherwise, a man of precept can be a man of selfishness. So loving kindness should be developed along with refraining from killing and refraining from stealing. Another Dhamma that you should develop together is acquire the right livelihood, good job, good career. Refraining from sexual misconduct is to control your sense door. And refraining from false speech, you develop the Dhamma called truthfulness. You do what you say what you do, you keep your word. And then the last one, you develop mindfulness. It preventing you from crowded your mind, from drinking, from getting involved with drug and alcohol. These are the 5 Dhammas that go together with the 5 precepts. All right, so that's the first group, the Vesarajjakaranadhamma, the Dhamma that help us to develop self-confidence or overcome fear in our life. Hope everyone can reflect on that and perhaps be able to try them out and put them into practice. Anything at all that you feel fear, you can think of these 5 things. So let's move on to the second one. Okay, so this one is called the 5 power or Pañca-Balā, 5 power or the 5 strength or the 5 forces. Start from number 1 in this group. There are 5 things because they fall into the group of 5. Number 1 is called sattha. You see the same again, sattha. Second is called effort or viriya. First one we hear the word viriyarampa, right? Viriyarampa. Now we see the word viriya again or effort. The third one is called mindfulness. Number 4 is called concentration or samadhi. And number 5, you see the word wisdom again. It appears here again. Are they the same or they are not the same? This is what we learn in a moment, right? We learn about Vesarajjakaranadhamma, the Dhamma that help us to improve self-confidence. We did talk about faith, sila, pahusacca, great learning, viriyarampa, effort with joy, and number 5, wisdom. Okay, we learned that already. And now the second topic, it happened to be in the same session. So it's good in a way, so we can compare. Then we can make differentiation and perhaps help us to understand Dhamma deeper, because the one that we are learning on the second one here is considered deep Dhamma, the Dhamma that support the enlightenment, to someone to achieve enlightenment. Buddha start from faith again, and effort of viriya and mindfulness and concentration, and then wisdom. You see faith, same color, right? This one. Faith and viriyarampa, number 4, and effort here, and the panya here. So 3 of them already that repeat. Sattha, viriya, and panya. Faith or confidence, effort or energy, and panya or wisdom. It's use the same terms. It use the same term, but it's the teaching fall into different group of Dhamma. So our job is to understand why the Buddha mentioned them differently and put them into different category. Okay. Let's go from here. The word pala, you can think of power, you can think of force, you can think of strength. That's called pala. It's a Pali term called Bala, B-A-L-A. And here it's called Pañca. Pañca means 5, Bala. Okay, that means 5 power or 5 strength. There are 5 mental strengths that the Buddha mentioned, which again, it's one of the group of Dhamma that consider help one to achieve enlightenment. I will show you the picture in a moment. But here, the Buddha mentioned about 5 things, the 5 power that we should develop when it comes to spiritual developments to achieve liberation. First, called sattha. Second, called viriya or effort. The third, called mindfulness. And the fourth, called samadhi or concentration. And the fifth, called paññā or the wisdom, right? Here is the picture that I like you to see. Again, this one today, for this particular topic, it just cannot take 10-15 minutes to understand. But in this elementary level, somehow the curriculum designed like this for you to get to know what it is, okay? And maybe familiar with the name and the meaning first, and later on try to connect the dot by yourself. There is something called the 37 factors of enlightenment or Bodhipakkhiya Dhamma. Bodhipakkhiya Dhamma. All of this, there are 47 Dhamma that support one to achieve enlightenment. You think of Satipatthana, we learned already. Sammapatthana, or the right striving or right effort, right? And the 4 base of mental power, Itipada. The 5 faculty or Indriya or Insi. And today we learn this one, number 5, is called the 5 strength or the 5 pala. And number 6, 7 factor of awakening or Pañca or Pañca-Khandha. And number 7 is called the Noble Eightfold Path. All of this is equal 37 factor of Dhamma that support one to achieve enlightenment. But today, the 5 pala is something that we are focusing on. It's called the 5 pala. It appears here. The 5 pala, when developed, it helps us to overcome this lower quality of the mind. With faith, it helps to deal with belief. Again, it's belief with back up with wisdom, right? Confidence, born out of conviction. Effort, deal with laziness. Lazy man cannot go anywhere in life. One need to make an effort, then one can achieve something, right? And the mindfulness is antidote for heedfulness or carelessness. Concentration is an antidote for hindrances that we learned from the previous week. And the wisdom is the antidote for ignorance. When we have wisdom, then we know the thing that we should know. Then we know the true nature of things. That's called wisdom. Keep in mind that when we learn the 5 power or the 5 pala, this teaching help a man to achieve liberation or achieve enlightenment. Start from practice these 5 things. We talked about sattha already, right? Sattha mean what? Sattha or faith or confidence. When a man become a monk, he develop wisdom. He listen to the Dhamma. When someone listen to the Dhamma, that means a person acquire information, acquire right knowledge or true teaching or true knowledge into himself. He go to listen to the Dhamma. You think of the Buddha time. The Buddha gave the Dhamma talk to the crowd, and a man was sitting in the crowd. He listened to the teaching of the Buddha and he reflect. Once receiving information through his ear, through his eye, the Buddha, the gesture of the Buddha, the manner of the Buddha, the sound of the Buddha go to the ear, and that information go through the mind. That's called Pahusatja, right? Great learning. He learned the Dhamma. And with that wisdom, he developed the right view, understanding, oh, the teaching of the Buddha is good. We born with suffering, there is a dukkha, there is a craving, there is a tanha, kama tanha, bhava tanha, vibhava tanha that cause us suffering, that keep us trapped in the realm of existence. It makes a lot of sense. And with that understanding, with that paññā, he make an effort to become a monk, to live a lay life, to become a monk or spiritual, to live spiritual life fully. So he decided to become a monk because he have faith, he have confidence, in the teaching. He want to following the teaching of the Buddha. He want to follow the footprint of the Buddha. So he live the lay life, become a monk's life or the monastic life, and he make an effort, persevere, right? Because monk need to observe precept, monk need to practice meditation. He develop mindfulness, he develop concentration to be a man of sati, a man of mindfulness, a man of concentration, a man of loving kindness, a man of compassion. So he developed all kind of quality of mind to become a good monk. So hoping that one day his mind will be liberated to achieve enlightenment and enter nibbana, just like many monks that walk down this path ahead of him. With faith, with faith, with effort, with mindfulness, with concentration, and with wisdom, with these five power, he can achieve enlightenment. He can achieve spiritual liberations. This is the picture that we can explain all of these five factor into one picture. Faith, start from faith. If no faith, then I don't think there will be any monk. You may not come to the teaching of the Buddha. You may not sign up for this class, this Dhamma class, because there's no faith in this program that will yield you any benefit. You don't have confidence, and the reason you have confidence that, hey, 15 weeks of my time will give me a lot of benefit in return of this investment for 15 weeks. With that wisdom, you have faith. With faith, you make an effort to continue for 15 weeks of study hard. Go back, relearn, prepare for the class, prepare for the exam. You make an effort, right? At the same time, you also have to be mindful and practice meditation. Study Dhamma. The Dhamma book is unlike other books. The more you meditate, the more you understand what you learn. That's the beauty of study Dhamma. So this will give you the power to achieve in your class, achieve in anything in your life. But in this particular teaching, the five power, like I said, the Buddha grouped them together in this Bodhipakkhiya-Dhammā, which the Buddha gave to the monk who want to achieve Nibbana in the fast track, no delay. You practice all of these 37 of them, and 5 strengths happen to be listed here in among these 37 Dhamma that the Buddha teach in this particular group, which is called Bodhipakkhiya-Dhammā. So feel free to check them out. Okay, beautiful. This is a heavy topic. This is a detailed topic. All of the teaching of the Buddha, all of the meditation practice, all of sati sampajanya, they fall into these 37 things in this particular teaching. Even though the Buddha gave to the teaching of 5 power to someone who looking for spiritual liberation in the fast track, it doesn't mean that the lay person cannot do it. Like I said, you can apply this into your Nakdhamma study, in your Dhamma study journey as well, right? You must have faith. And faith comes from Pañca, ability to understand things clearly that, hey, Dhamma study will benefit me. Then you make an effort to finish the class. You are mindful, you are focused every time you come to the class. You prepare for the class, you put your eye, your ear to the class, and after the class is over, you go back and relearn. You persevere to understand. You persevere to prove the Dhamma that really benefit you. Put into practice. And that's the 5 power. And later on, by cultivate this kind of habit, the habit of believe with wisdom, the habit of making effort, don't give up easily, the habit of being mindful, the habit of focus when it's time to focus. When you study the class, you don't turn on the music, you don't check your phone, you don't check your Facebook, you just focus with the teacher. That's called concentration. And then with that, all of this will help you to understand, oh, that topic, this is about this, and this is how I can put them into practice. This is how this Dhamma can benefit me. Okay, so you can apply this idea of the 5 power into your lay life as well. And when it comes to meditation life, that's even better, because now, do you really believe that a man can achieve Nibbana? What is Nibbana? We don't even know. And the Buddha mentioned about there is something called Nibbana. I've been there. And I'm telling you, if you do this, you will realize the same thing as I did, or as other great monks in the past did, by walking down the Noble Eightfold Path. Utilize the concept of sila or morality, the concept of mind development, the concept of wisdom development, then you will realize the same thing. You can apply these 5 things. So develop your faith toward my teaching, the Buddha teaching, make an effort, okay, to continue to practice the teaching that you learn, and to live life to guard your sense door. You see, mindfulness help you to prevent the enemy that the bad input that will come to your eye, your ear, your nose, your tongue, your touch, and your mind. So you develop mindfulness, and then you practice meditation, or you stay focused when you learn. You stay focused when you work. At the same time, wisdom will happen later on. See, the five power is very powerful. We learned already this one about Itipada, right? The four base of success. When we learn the Dhamma group 4, you see the word Viriya here. Viriya in delight, effort, enjoy doing it. To be success, you must love what you do. You must keep on doing until the job is done with a joyful mind, with energetic mind. And number 3, you have to stay focused, citta. And vimamsa is about you reflect. This is a wisdom element. Don't just keep on doing the wrong thing over and over. When it comes to meditation, you may sit for years without making any progress because you continue to do what doesn't work for you. You can sit for 2 hours every day, but make no progress because you never reflect. Is the technique okay? What went wrong? How come I don't experience something as the teacher mentioned? I have been sitting for many years. So don't just repeat what doesn't work. Stop doing it. Change your habit to continue doing what works for you. When you sit, do you feel relaxed? Do you feel joy? Do you like it? If the answer is yes, 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 then continue. If the answer is I'm not sure, answer is no, then stop, check, adjust, and then practice again. Okay, this is the idea of the viriya, or make an effort. Then you can be success with the thorough or deep reflection as well of whatever you are doing. The perseverance is the right effort. When you hear the word effort here, effort, I like you to think of the right effort that the Buddha mentioned in the Noble Eightfold Path. When you hear the word mindfulness and concentration as well, you think of what is the Buddha mentioned, the idea of right mindfulness and right concentration, because the Noble Eightfold Path is the blueprint, right, for a man who want to realize the spiritual nibbana, or achieve the spiritual liberations. So we need to keep that information in mind about the Noble Eightfold Path. What is right view? What is right thinking? What is right effort? What is right mindfulness? All of this you should be remember kind of automatically. It should be by default. When we talk about Noble Eightfold Path, you should see that information right away in your mind. In this five power, the right effort is this one, right? Prevents unarisings of unwholesome state. To abandon unwholesome state that already arisen, to arouse wholesome state that have not yet arisen, and to maintain a perfect wholesome state that already arisen. This is what mentioned in the teaching of the Noble Eightfold Path in the group of the right effort, or Samma Vayama, which we talked about this already. And when it comes to the right mindfulness or sati, right mindfulness, the Buddha referred to the satipatthana. There are 4 areas that the mind can develop mindfulness: through the body, through the feeling, through the mind, and through the mind object. So I did mention the textbook or the sutra named Satipatthana. Please make sure you check them out. It's very useful when it's come for you to practice meditation. It gives you confidence. When you have right information, it gives you confidence when you practice by yourself. Without having right information, again, you may sit with doubt all the time. Okay, 5 ways to acquire wisdom first, and 5 ways to ask questions later on. And when it comes to samadhi or right concentration, this is what is said in the teaching of the Noble Eightfold Path. The last item, the last factor is called right concentration, or the samma samadhi, right? There are all texts here, but the keyword that appears often here, you see the words: the first jhana, the second jhana, the third jhana, and the fourth jhana. This is jhana has something to do with the right concentration, definitely explained by the Buddha himself. But for now, we're not here to discuss about the idea of jhana. I just want to pinpoint you to the information when we hear the word samma samadhi, or the right concentration. Because here, right, we're talking about samma samadhi. This one is one of the 5 power. So we need to know where to find that information and what does the Buddha means. So right mindfulness first, and then right concentration follow. And when that happens, the five hindrances or the lower quality of mind will be suppressed. That's a person will experience something called a jhana, and which give to the feeling of peace and happiness. Okay, more and more refined of happiness, more and more refined form of happiness happening later on. So level of wisdom. The first one, Sutta Maya Pañca, you acquire, you go learn. You don't know something, you go learn. And then you reflect, Cinta Maya Pañca, you think of what you learn. Don't just learn and don't reflect. How can you adapt? How can you apply what you learn? And then later on, the highest level of wisdom is called Bhavana Maya Pañca. Bhavana Maya Pañca, the wisdom that comes from seeing. This how can we see? Not seeing from this physical eye, right? Seeing from the Dhamma eye or the inner eye, which refer to the practice of meditation. Okay, Pañca is like the light. Remove the darkness from the room. When you have Pañca, you have the light to understand something that you don't understand before. And when you, with that understanding, it helps you to develop the right view to a thing. With the right view, then right thinking follow. When right thinking happening, then right speech and right action will follow automatically. That's how happiness come to be. So start from having the right understanding first. Okay, so that's the second topic today. We almost done, so please hang in there. So the last topic today is about the five aggregates. Again, is another heavy one, but in this 10 minutes, how much we can go, right? But your job is to understand that, hey, the teaching of the Buddha about the five aggregates is mentioned here for a reason. It doesn't matter how much time do we have. It's our job. There will never be enough time, okay, when it comes to study Dhamma. So we need to find more time to go deeper, to read more books about each particular Dhamma that we learned. In this Nakdhamma level, elementary level, like I said, you will learn various kind of Dhamma. The teacher or the instructor will help you to explore many Dhamma topics that appears in the Buddhist text. So the five aggregates also is considered the deep Dhamma, is considered the Vipassana level of Dhamma. When it comes to achieve liberation, one must understand the true nature of oneself, which is the five aggregates. So we have body and we have the mind. We know that, but we don't really know much about the mind, right? That's why there's a problem happens because of ignorant mind. So we don't know the mind work. We don't know what inside the mind. We don't know the defilement that forced the mind to do things, that crowded the mind in making the wrong decision. It's so important to understand the concept of the five aggregates. Start from the meaning first. The meaning of aggregate or Khandha. Khandha means groups. The five Khandha mean hips, mean aggregate, mean collection, mean grouping. Whichever vocabulary that the translator feel fit, they will use that particular ones. So the five aggregate means five groups that make human, right? Five things that make us a human. A true nature of human being. There are five things. If we break them down, there are five things. Of course, start from the body, rupa, form or matter. That's number one. We have body, right, and mind, and this is the mind. And the second one is called feeling or vedana. This is the mind part. So the body has earth, water, wind, fire. We learned that. The mind also has four elements. It's called vedana, feeling. The mind has another quality called perception or sanya, ability to memorize. Also, the mind can think. It's called sankhara, mental formation. And the mind can know. It's called vijnana. When we see, we know. It's called vijnana. When we hear, we know the sound. It's called Jakku Vinyan, knowing from seeing. Sota Vinyan, knowing from what we're hearing. Shilha Vinyan, knowing when you taste something. This is the idea of consciousness. And why we have to study the five aggregates. Don't just jump into the Dhamma without knowing the purpose. We may not fully understand and the importance of the Dhamma and how should we practice. Sometimes we just neglect because we feel like, oh, it sounds difficult, maybe not for me. It's not like that. The five aggregates actually mentioned already in the concept of the Four Noble Truths. This one I just captured from the teaching of the Four Noble Truths from the Buddhist text. Just in case you never read the text before, this is what the Buddha said about the idea of dukkha. If I put into a number, maybe easier to see. The Buddha talked about 8 things on the list in the first noble truth. This is the noble truth that is dukkha, sometimes translated to suffering. The first, rebirth is suffering, decay is suffering, death is suffering, sorrow, lamentation, pain, this also suffering, right? Associate with unpleasant is suffering, separate from pleasant is suffering, and don't get what one wants is suffering. Interestingly, the last one the Buddha said, in short, the 5 aggregates of clinging are suffering. So that means suffering comes from this very body and mind. It doesn't come from outside factors. Come from this very and mind. If we understand our own life fully, understand the body, understand the mind fully, that help us to lessen suffering in our life. Definitely. In one teaching, someone asked the Buddha, what is dukkha? The answer is, it should be said, it is the 5 aggregate of attachment is dukkha. That is deep. Why did the Buddha say that? And the teaching of the 5 aggregates happened to be the most teaching of the Buddha appears in the Buddhist text. Because the main teaching of the Buddha is about suffering and how to end suffering, right? If one don't know the 5 aggregates, the true nature of oneself, then one don't know how to remove suffering from one life. That is why the Buddha teach about this topic, Dhamma topic, the most. They are the ultimate reference of the first noble truth. You may learn about the noble truth many times, but today please keep in mind that focus on understanding the 5 aggregates. Then it helps you to understand what the Buddha mean by dukkha. Not just physical, headache, stomach ache. It's not just that. And they are the object range of clinging. Clinging can be removed to the right wisdom, all right? Okay, so this one will be discussed again when we talk about the Noble Eightfold Path. The significance of this one, the 5 aggregates, the Buddha teach the monk, are impermanent, anicca, they are impermanent. Whatever is impermanent, that is dukkha. This is important sentence. Whatever impermanent, that thing definitely is dukkha. Whatever is dukkha, that is without atta or self. Now we see the term aniccaṃ, dukkaṃ, anatta here again, which is the common characteristic of all things, right? What is without self, that is not mine, that I am not, that is not myself. Thus, it should be seen by a perfect wisdom, which we don't have yet. Should be seen means you see from not your physical eye, you see from your Dhamma eye or inner eye, you see from the perfect wisdom as it really is. Who see by perfect wisdom as it really is, his mind not grasping. His mind is detached from tense or tanha or avijja or ignorance. He is liberated. So the teaching of 5 aggregates is crucial. It plays an important role for us to be free from suffering at all. Because we don't really know who we are, why we come to exist. But through the lens of Arahant, like this particular female Arahant, her name is Vajira Bhikkhuni. This is how she see life. She said, just as an assemblage of parts, the word chariot is used. Okay, so I don't have the picture of chariots. I use the picture of the car. So when the aggregate exists, there is convention. There is the convention, a being. The convention, okay, is not the ultimate truth. It's just conventional truth, a being. In the reality, it is only dukkha that comes to be. Only dukkha that stand and fall away. Nothing but dukkha comes to be. Nothing but dukkha ceases. How much do we understand this? If one understands this, one mind will be liberated from craving, from clinging. Because nothing is worth clinging on in these 5 aggregates. The body is loathsomeness, we learned already. The body has all kind of disease. When we reflect on asubha, the ugliness of the body, right? There are 32 parts of the body that's, is loathsome, is unattractive. Somehow we still feel attractive when we see something beautiful. When we see someone beautiful, when we see someone handsome, we crave for that. They have lustful mind. But the eye of Rahant, they see things differently. They have an X-ray eye. They have an X-ray vision. They see things differently. They see things in a special way as normal being don't see. So the five aggregate, the body and the mind. The body composed of four elements: earth, water, fire, and air. And the mind has four elements as well. Start from consciousness or vijnana. Then the mind can, when the mind is conscious, the mind can feel, the mind can remember, the mind can think of whatever it see, of whatever it hear, whatever it touch, it taste. These are the detailed information of the five aggregate. So we have the door of sense. This is the five door of sense, right? And in order for the mind to think, the mind need to know first that, okay, now the eye see the flower. So the mind know right away this is what kind of flower. And the mind can feel that I like or I don't like this flower. And it goes through the mental formation process. You think, and if you like, you want to buy. If you don't like, you just ignore it. This happens very quickly. And this is the five aggregate. This is us. This is the true nature of us. The idea of learning five aggregate, the Buddha wants us to remember, to keep in mind that all of these phenomena, they are fall into this characteristic of the nature of things we call three marks of existence. All conditioned things are impermanent, again, anicca, right? All conditioned things are unsatisfactory or unsustainable or dukkha. And all things or Dhammas are not self or anatta. This is an ultimate truth that the Buddha discovered and he shared with us. So when we come to learn the concept of the five aggregate, we need to find a way to reflect. Then we can get benefit out of learning this Dhamma topic. That hey, form is impermanent, feeling is impermanent, perception is impermanent, thought is impermanent, consciousness is impermanent. All of this they subject into this law of impermanent. They are unsustainable and they are uncontrollable. So anicca, dukkha, and anatta are the law of nature that govern these five aggregates, all of us equally. So if we cling on this so much, then we are end up suffering. So we need to understand this teaching, then the mind will be liberated. The Buddha gave this teaching to the five ascetics at the second teaching when he talked about the anatta, the concept of anatta or anatta lakkhana sutta to the five ascetics. After he understand the Four Noble Truths, but he still did not able to penetrate to the teaching deeply until the Buddha gave the second teaching, because their mind still clinging on or not fully understood about the five aggregate. There is no permanent self. There is no you. There is no me. Why did I say that? Because this is what the Buddha teach, right? Bhikkhu, this body is not yours, nor does it belong to others. It's the old karma to be seen as generated and fashioned by volition, as something to be felt. That's worth reflection. The body is not yours, or nor is belong to anybody. It's come from the old karma. Okay? To be seen as generated and fashioned by the volition, that your intention of do good, do bad, not good, not bad. And that is something to be felt. The idea is there's no permanent self. It's just the conditioned thing. It's just the phenomena. The condition of the body, condition of the mind, condition of earth, water, wind, fire, and then body become the body. The condition of feeling, perception, thought, and consciousness, then the mind become the mind. So body and mind together, it become another conditioned thing. There is no real permanence or real owner of this very body and mind, which again hard to understand and hard to grasp for those who are new to the teaching and for those who not really practice meditation. When you hear this teaching for the first time, it doesn't make any sense, right? Because we don't have the way to don't have the approach to understand the meaning behind this yet. What we learned today about the five aggregates, I like to emphasize one more time that when you think of your body, feeling, mind, these five things, okay, your body is impermanent, right? It's getting old, and nothing much you can do about it. Illness is coming, death is coming. It's impermanent. Whatever impermanent, the Buddha said, is dukkha. Whatever dukkha, the Buddha also said, is not you, is not self. You, it's uncontrollable. It's out of your control. That's the body. The feeling as well. Okay, the feeling of vedana, the perception of sanya, the mental formation or the thinking, or the the ability to think and the consciousness or the vijnana also. So when you reflect, when you learn, you reflect like this. All of this is one of this. Okay, we cannot have good feeling all day long. We cannot be sad all day long. Okay, things come and go. They are impermanent, and perception as well. Sometimes we want our memory is not last forever. Okay, and the mental formation. Sometimes we think good, sometimes we think bad. We cannot force ourselves to think good all day long. Again, consciousness, same thing. So they rise and fall. They rise and fall. That's idea of five aggregate, and that is why the Buddha mentioned that this body is not yours, nor belong to others. It's just the conditioned phenomena to be felt, to be felt. When we feel like that, it helps us to let go the craving, let go the clinging in these five aggregate. When we can let go the clinging of our own aggregate, it helps us to understand this law of nature that govern others too, right? So our loved ones, human, animal, object that we own, they also subject to the same law of nature. They're just an aggregate that come together with conditions. They get old, they get ill, eventually they die. The car, you get new car, become old car, and then will fall apart one day. That's the nature of things. So this is the idea of the five aggregate. All right, that pretty much the topic that I supposed to be covered today.